Hey, and welcome to the club. This is your April Club Couture transfer, Sweet Spring, and I'm going to show you how to build your own sweet greeting for the new season. Your Club Couture shipment this month comes with a bee-sized Sweet Spring transfer and 3 pastes in Green Envy, Honeydew, and Peony. I've got my surface here, the classic Couture Gallery Aiden framed board in the 9x12 size. I've got some small dishes here to use as a palette for my paste colors, and I also have a 3-ounce jar of bright white paste, which you might remember came in the startup kit you may have opted for when you subscribed, and it's a nice addition for this piece. I've also got a couple of squeegees here, scissors, a permanent marker, and my fuzzing cloth ready to go, along with a water bath here for convenient cleanup. I'll start by cutting the transfer elements apart. Now, a cut-apart transfer like this has so many possibilities, and for some it may seem hard to know where to start, so that's what I hope to help you through today. I bet you'll find once you've gotten to know the pieces here, you'll be ready to use these elements in all kinds of creations. I like to label my backers with marker, just to correspond to the art, which will expedite cleanup so much, especially for a transfer with this many small pieces. And when there are several like this, I like to just use a number, which I'll actually write on the transfer itself and then mark the backer accordingly. I like to get a feel for the placement by just laying the pieces out in advance. So I know I want Sweet Spring in the center, and then I really like these vines at the top, and I think I'll actually do them at the top and the bottom, and then build the florals over them. So now I'm just kind of eyeballing what I think might look nice as I go through the pieces here. I like a little symmetry so it feels intentional, but not too rigidly so. I've managed to use, I think, all of the pieces except for maybe 1 or 2, but only for this project, for simplicity's sake. I know I'll find plenty of uses for all of these. Now that I have a rough idea in mind, I'll clear it all off and get started with the center element. I'm removing the backer, pulling straight from the side rather than diagonally from the corner, and just get that fuzzed a bit. When a transfer is new like this, it's good to gentle the adhesive just a bit so it's easier to remove from your surface. I think I've got it in the center here, but I often use my hands as a measure, and I'll just smooth it out to make sure there are no air bubbles. Now I'll prep the paste. I'm starting with bright white, which I stirred up earlier, so it's ready to go. I'm just loading up my small squeegee here with a good bit of paste and smoothing it over the transfer screen. Once it's covered, I'll scrape it off and offload that extra paste into the jar. And then remove the transfer. You'll see I'm pulling it straight off from the side again, and it's pretty sticky, so I'll just try to tug carefully as I go so it doesn't stretch out, and then I'll get this into the water bath. Let's move on to the greenery, which will sort of be the anchor to build the florals over. I'll get this fuzzed off and positioned just right of center at the top of the board, and then I'll match its counterpart to it on the left, just leaving a gap between them that I can fill with flowers. Now I'll prep my Green Envy paste by kneading the paste packet first, just to make sure it's mixed up. I'll snip off the corner and then squeeze a bit into the dish. I'm using a clean squeegee and applying it, and then I'll quickly pull this off and reposition it on the bottom. If you work quickly, you can reuse small elements like this in between washings, and that makes things go really quick. I'll just grab that same squeegee and chalk these green as well. And now I'm done, so I'll wash that off. Here's the trick to speed things along as well. A hairdryer set on low is a great help when you have a project with lots of layering. It will definitely speed things along. Just make sure you don't get it too warm, and then be sure to let the surface return to room temperature before proceeding. If you layer while the board is still hot, you'll likely pull up the first layer, and that can be super frustrating. I think it's dry enough now, so I'm ready for peony. I'll get it mixed up and squeeze just a bit out into the dish. I'll definitely have some left over for another project. I'm choosing the largest flower for this color, and after I fuzz it, I'm putting it right in the center of the bottom greenery. I'll also get this other little blossom ready to go. I like to work by color here, so anything that will be pink, I try to do in groups. I'm just chalking this large flower first, get it peeled and into the water, and then I'll go to the top and catch this blossom, and done once, I'll pull it quick and reposition it again for another use. I'll let things dry while I prep my next piece, this rounded bud branch, and once it's dry enough, I'll get these done in white. Again, using it a couple times quickly, and I'm kind of holding the corner up here so it doesn't drop right into the wet paste on the left. Now I'll jump to the bottom and do one more on the right. Still working in white. I'll use this little guy. It kind of looks like a heather flower to me. And chalk it on the left side. I'll give everything a once-over again with the dryer so I can move on to the next color. I like these leaves down at the bottom, one on each side, and then the very small flower in the center top. I'll prep my honeydew paste the same as the others, and just get a small dab out. For this, I'm grabbing my multi-tool, so handy when layer pieces are little. I'll just get a touch of this on and chalk the top flower. I'm going to do a couple here, but you definitely need to wait for the first one to dry enough so that working closely won't smudge it. And I'm going to be brave and try for a third flower up here, again kind of propping the corner up to avoid that wet paste on the other flowers, which I really could not do without this awesome detail end. One last honeydew flower to the right of the bottom bunch, and there it is, all done. You will love this project as a pretty nod to the spring season that lies ahead, but also as a super versatile transfer you'll reach for again and again as you accent other creations with these sweet florals.